In the previous video, we saw how we can paint using just colors and also alphas in ZBrush. So using various techniques, we can like darken some areas or lighten up some others, and we can increase the number of details and also the overall quality and realism of our character. So you can, I personally prefer to work with the colors and alphas because they're like more, handcrafted, and they give you this really nice results. You can like control everything essentially with the colors, and using the correct brushes and alphas, you can really do anything. And we also saw here how we can start to paint also with textures. So we can use simple colors or we can use textures. In this video in particular, we're going to concentrate on how we can paint with textures. So we started again in the previous video a little bit to apply some airs, some fake airs, because we are not using fibers here. We are using images. So we are faking some 2D and 3D superficial details and effects using painting. And in this case, we're going to use textures. You have the textures panel right here, and we also have the spotlight tool, which is a pretty important tool if you want to work with images and texture. You can manage them and modify them and edit them easier. Now you also have in the light spot a texture section right here where you can get a lot of different textures. Now most of these are like for architecture, I believe, or something like concerning structures like walls or pavements, and you have like rocks and wood. So these are not really specific for character design, or animals, things like that. You can use some of these like to work with metals, to give some details to metals like cracks and scratches, things like that. You can apply those to metal objects, to the armor. But well, I don't find here what I'm looking for. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go on the web and I'm gonna search for something more specific. Now if you type textures on the web, you'll find a lot of types of textures, and some of those you can see there, they can simulate skin. So we can just go there and take this image and then import it into ZBrush. This is one of the many websites where you can get free open source public domain CC0 textures that you can use for any project. So you can see there, this is public domain. And so by searching the word that you're looking for, the material that you're looking for, you will find a lot of different images. Now you need to be um, specific, and also you can see here I typed for you. You will find a lot of results. You need to understand which one of these are actually good to be used for painting. Now, if you're looking for something that needs to be repeated many times on a surface, then you're looking for something tileable. So you can distinguish two main types of textures: tileable and non-tileable. Now usually tileable texture, they appear like pretty flat and uniform. They don't have like these really important details. There are no shadows, there are no highlights, everything looks flat. So you can divide textures in tileable and non-tileable. Well, actually, the non-tileable textures are those are which are not tileable essentially. So everything else that you can find on the web, any other image that you have, also your photograph, you can use a photograph, by the way, if you want to project your face onto your object. So anything else, it's non-tileable. So for example, this fur here is non-tileable because it's black and white, and it's going to be visible if I'm going to repeat that texture many times. It's going to have seams, it's going to have like cuts from one tile to the other. So another term is tiling, tileable, which all refers to repetition. This one here, for example, is good. This is a fur texture, which looks pretty flat, doesn't have any shadows or darker areas or brighter areas, so it's good. And also you can see I can download it in different size. So also the size is important for the resolution. So the higher is the resolution, the better will be the image that you're gonna project and apply to your model. And you can see they are all like multiple of twos, and usually they are squared. They are not like rectangle, but they are square. So this one here is another one that I could use for applying a skin texture on my character. So I would not need to go there and paint my uh, skin textures as we did in the previous video, but I can just get a texture and apply onto the part of the object. Same thing goes for the eyes. Now the eye, this is a perfect example of something that cannot be repeated. So I'm just going to place the eye one time, or well, two times, because I will use symmetry, but this is not going to be repeated many times onto a surface unless you have like a creature that has like 1,000 eyes. Now you can also look eye, not eye textures. You can just look eyes like this, and you can project this using Spotlight. So if you're using complex images like this, so not the tileable, non-tileable textures, you may want to use Spotlight, because Spotlight will help you to take only one part of the image and project only that part of the image on a part of your 3D model. So you can take the eyebrows, you can take the eye bulb separate. You can also, well, you're not limited to the eye. When you use Spotlight tool in ZBrush, you can also get the entire face and then just paint the eye. So let's say that Spotlight, it's more accurate, a more manageable tool when you need to paint stuff, images onto your objects. So if you get a face, or you get, for example, also a logo, you get like graphic design that you want to apply to your product. If you're like sculpting and modeling up a product, you can do product design, you can do branding, you can do industrial design and applied graphics. So you can really project any image in there. And also I want to show you here some unwrap. So unwrap is a type of texture usually, or well, it's also a type of mapping where when it cannot be repeated. So it's used for branding, packaging, and industrial design, product design. And usually it's each part of the object has its own graphic applied. So it's not like you are taking something and repeat it many times, but you just apply one single texture, and on that texture you will have all the different parts with all different graphics. Now there are also other type of textures like alpha. So we can use these to use it for our alpha when we want to paint not on the entire surface but only on the white spots. So the white will be visible, black will not be visible. And we're gonna make examples of everything in just a minute in the video. And then we have also HDRI, which are like textures that can be used for the materials and also for the background. So they are used to have better reflections, essentially. So HDRIs, but here in this website, Polyhaven, you will also find some really nice textures. And you can see most of these are like for architecture, they represent like structures, but you have also the categories there on the left. We have like a fabric section here, and we can get like something for our clothing as well. So we can do again apparel design, fashion design using different textures, apply those onto our clothing, onto our clothes or of the character, of course, and we can make something more detailed and specific. Now we're gonna see also how we can both paint and sculpt using the texture. Now you also have other texture here that are for the superficial 3D effect, like normal or the roughness or the specular. But well, this is something that is covered in other video guides. So if you look for other video guides in Polyhaven inner channel, you will see different examples. Now you can see also if I get an object here in Polyhaven, they have this unwrap texture. So this is again a demonstration of how unwrap texture is used.